Hello, and once again, we are live on the Modern Mystery School UK and EU podcast and YouTube channel. And today I am joined by the lovely Alex. How are you, Alex?
I'm good. How are you, Davina Kate?
I am wonderful. Now, I'm very excited. Now, we had scheduled this earlier just to explain to some of our viewers because they did email me and say, why isn't Aleksandra? And as Alex was just explaining, she was in the airport trying to get from one place to another and snowstorms and everything. So we thought better to just reschedule for today so that we knew we could go ahead.
Yeah, no, thank you everybody for your patience, and I apologize for canceling on you on Friday.
It was just one of those things. But that goes to prove how much everybody has been wanting to hear from you again and how popular you are. So I am so glad you're back on the show. And we're kicking off 2023.
Yeah.
How are we kicking off 2023, Alex? What's in the forecast? Can you give us some top tips to help us through?
Well, number one, we just finished Mercury retrograde yesterday. So today is the first day that Mercury is direct. So if some of you have been feeling a little stressed out, the past 18 days of 2023, the good news is that things are going to resume and go back a little more smoothly. And we also had Mars retrograde for the first 12 days as well. And so, a lot of that negative self-talk, I'm hoping for some of you is really kind of, I guess, cooled its jets and that you can be more kinder and more compassionate to yourself, even when things were going a little bit awry.
Yes, I think it has been an interesting time, hasn't it? Just talking to lots of people and their impressions of 2023 has been quite interesting, to say the least.
Well, our initial experience of 2023 is kind of dependent on like the first, 2 weeks or so. And so whenever we start with Mercury retrograde, it kind of tends to throw off people's perception of the year. And it's like, oh God, oh, here we go again, and you think that you're going to have this like awful year ahead of you. But I promise you, it's not going to be as bad as you think it is.
Whew, well, that's a relief. That's a relief. Now, we've only got about 10 minutes here today with you. However, I just want to let people know that Alex is very kindly going to drop us some, little few top tips here. But a couple of weeks ago, Alex did a whole forecast for the whole of 2023. And you're going to put the link in the comment box of how people can get that. Is that right, Alex? So they can purchase it.
They can contact me. So I'll put my email there.
Oh, amazing. Amazing. So just to, if you want to know the full forecast and you've never done one of Alex's forecasts, it's really in depth. It's really amazing. So it's well worth it. And so please, enjoy. But what have you got for us? Some little top tips for 2023.
Well, the first thing I wanted to mention actually is Jupiter. And so he is going to be speeding through Aries in the first 5 months of the year. So basically, Jupiter usually takes about a year to move through a sign. So he's going to go through Aries in 5 months. And so for a lot of people, the first 5 months of the year, how I want to explain it to you is think of it as opening doors and opening opportunities. And so like if you were thinking of it as selling products, I would say consider it like doing pre-sales. So meet, connect with people, explore opportunities. And then in the second half of the year, go back and fulfill, whichever opportunities you feel are best for you.
Oh, that's very handy. Very good. So we've got kind of a plan here now. I like that.
Yeah. And so, one of the things that I've been noticing is that most people's charts are very active in the first half of the year. And so there's a lot of growth that's possible. So this is your time to do your networking. For those of you who are light workers and healers and guides, get yourself out there and exposed to people in the first half of the year, really build up your connections and your base, and then go back, and start doing a lot of your teaching and that kind of thing.
Wonderful. I love that. It does feel busy already, though. I was commenting earlier, And I said, I feel so busy already, you know?
Yeah. So anybody who has their chart focused in one of the masculine signs, so that would be Aries, Gemini, Leo, Libra. Where's my brain right now? Sagittarius. You know, all and Aquarius, sorry, that's the one I was forgetting. All of the air and fire signs, your charts are highly active for the next 5 months. And so especially if you're earlier in the sign, you're probably already feeling a lot of the transits that are happening, right? And so there is a lot of potential opening up, and so kind of put the potential in your back pocket and keep awareness of it and maintain those connections, and then whatever best serves you, you can go back, when Jupiter enters Taurus, and start fulfilling and building upon.
That is wonderful. That is wonderful. And so this year, you said it's more positive.
Well, okay. I didn't quite say that. I said it's not as bad as you think.
With the podcast people, I was doing kind of is it really?
Well, again, when we start off with Mercury retrograde, it can kind of tinge our perspective on things to be like, oh God, this is going to be another one of those years, right? And I'm telling you, once we get out of January, and once Jupiter starts speeding up and activating a lot of transits, you're going to feel that there is a lot more growth possible, right? And so things are a little bit slow right now because we started off, with both Mercury and Mars retrograde, and so as we, like I said, we literally just moved out of that energy yesterday. And so things can actually start to pick up now. Right.
Amazing. Oh, and what can people do this? What type of is there types of classes or healings and things like that they can really capitalize, on this motion? What would you suggest?
Oh my gosh. Well, the first thing that I would say, because I haven't gotten into this yet, but Pluto is going to be moving into Aquarius, and that's going to be changing a lot of our the way we participate in society. Right. And so both on an individual level, but also the way, like the countries participate in the United Nations and that kind of thing. And so one of the things I would actually really recommend, Ipsissimus Dave wrote a book called You Are Not Perfect. And there's a lot of Hermetic principles that are in there. And I would actually say to everyone that that's a really good read, because it's going to help you see through some of the chaos and confusion that comes with societal shifts. Because whenever Pluto changes signs, there's always a little bit of a, I guess, murky period, because he's going to be spending 21 years in Aquarius. And so we're going to have 21 years of, changing how we participate in society. Right. And so the last time, for those of you who are on the podcast, on the forecast, the last time Pluto was in Aquarius was actually during the French Revolution.
Oh.
And so, the Pluto in Aquarius is very much tied to that energy. And so we don't want things to go as badly as they did back then.
Oh, we're all
we no off with their heads, no let them eat cake, nothing like that.
Storming the Bastille, oh my goodness, hello,
Right. So we don't need any more of that. Let's hope we can do things in a more constructive manner. And so this is why I actually recommend Ipsissimus Dave's book, because you can actually start to work with the Hermetic principles and recognize where the Hermetics have it right and where sometimes society just has it wrong.
My goodness, that is so true. I've had many conversations with people, about that and how they're realizing that some of these concepts out there that seem good and seem like you're doing the right thing are actually destroying people's mental health and constructs and actually their sanity.
And even their physical health.
Yeah.
Right. And so this is where Hermetics is absolutely amazing. Now, in terms of classes and that kind of thing, for those of you who, if it pops up, I can't always speak to what's available, but if it pops up, there's two things I would recommend. One is actually self-leadership in the new paradigm. And the other would actually be the money class. Because that explores our relationship to money. And the thing is, as Jupiter moves into Taurus, we are entering a period where we have a chance to, one, kind of recover the economy a little bit, but also two, which I think a lot of people will be happy to hear, there's been a lot of looming recession fears. And so the astrology suggests that the recession is not going to be as bad as as is being forecasted by economists and that kind of thing. But also Taurus is a bit of a lavish sign. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but we do need to know how to use opportunities and money wisely and correctly. And so since this is actually one of the themes in the second half of the year, that is something that I would recommend.
Thank you so much. I love these recommendations. Now we're coming up to we're running slightly over, but anything else that you want to share with us? And then, just to recap, for the full forecast for 2023, email Alex. You can purchase it. It's extremely reasonable, and it's very in depth. So I'm just letting everybody know, it's amazing.
Okay, last quick tip. If you were born in the 70s and 80s, at some point during this year, right, you are going to have to, at one point, grapple with forces beyond your control. And this goes for all of us. Anybody born in the 70s and 80s is going to have Jupiter opposing Pluto in your chart. And the point of it is for you to unleash the fullness of your strength. So you will be challenged by things bigger than you, because we always hold back in life. Right? We never really give it 100% because we're not even aware of what that is, and so you will be challenged by forces greater than yourself. And so if you haven't attended Empower Thyself and you haven't learned how to start working with and harnessing, the powers of the universe and, in the heavenly hierarchy, I definitely recommend that. Right? Because sometimes we can't change things, but we might be able to call things in that help us out anyways. Right?
Yes.
And so as you face those things, gather up all of yourself and don't fight, create.
I love it. Well, watch this space for the second half of the year for all of us then. Well, 70s and 80s children.
Yeah, 70s children are gonna get it in the first half of the year, 80s children second half.
Okay, I'm ready.
And then 90s children, you're next year.
I think that's worse, having to wait. At least I'm
impending doom.
Oh my goodness, that is amazing. Thank you so much for sharing your time and your expertise, your wisdom with us here today. And please please join us again soon. We love having you on the show. It's always a pleasure. And everybody, go and email Alex for your full 2023 forecast. Thanks so much.
Oh, no, thank you. It's always an honor to be on and to share with everybody.
Take care, everyone. Bye.
Bye.